Hello, Michael Tracy here. We are in Helena, Montana. The Montana special election for its at-large congressional seat is this Thursday, so get out the vote. Efforts on both sides are ramping up accordingly. One of the main dynamics that I think Democrats have had to navigate in this race is how do you balance what is animating national Democrats or Democrats concentrated in Washington, D.C. with more localized concerns that could be especially relevant among Montana voting demographics. And of course, what Democrats in Washington, D.C. tend to be inextricably fixated on is Russia. And of course, Trump has given Democrats reason at least to believe that there is something worth pursuing there that could lead to Trump's agenda being hobbled or potentially even him being removed from office. But on a day-to-day level, whether the Russia issue resonates with kind of standard fare voters out in the country, like, say, in Montana, it's sort of another question. So we haven't heard much talk about Russia over the course of this race. Bernie Sanders actually did raise it briefly at one of his rallies over the weekend.
You all know about the crises that we face. And I am not just talking about what you've read about in the last week or two, the special counsel to investigate whether the Trump campaign was acting in collusion with the Russians. And I'm not talking about the firing of the FBI director in the midst of an investigation. And I'm not talking about whether or not the president provided Russia with classified information. All of that stuff is important, and we're going to pursue it. But what I am talking about tonight is something that predates Trump by a long time.
So can Democrats come up with a formula that incorporates the fervor that's developed around this Russia issue while also paying tribute, let's say, to the more traditionally liberal left issues that their coalition is founded on? I think the Quist campaign will be a good test case for that, and we shall see on Thursday what comes of it.
Well, I think that Mr. Gianforte needs to answer that question as to why he is betting on the economy of Russia, especially for companies that have been sanctioned by the U.S. He will bet on Russia. I'll bet on Montana.
One issue that Rob Quist mentioned a couple weeks back, I'm actually curious to know what your take on it is. He brought up the fact that Gianforte had so-called Russian investments, or he had money invested in various Russian entities, and he accused Gianforte of betting on Russia instead of America. Do you think that's a legitimate line of attack? I mean, did that seem like it resonated to you?
It did to me in terms if Rob mentioned it, he's running a clean, very clean campaign. He's not slinging any mud per se. If he's behind the facts, and if he discussed that, then I would go along with that. I would say he's right on the money.
I think any attachment to Russia is a legitimate attack when somebody attaches themselves to Donald Trump. So that's a legitimate question, yeah. I don't particularly know anything about Gianforte's attachment to anything in Russia. So really, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to say. On the political landscape, it's fair game.
Well, I definitely think there's probably some influence, and I just heard that the Russians are already affecting the races right now. So, but I think probably most Montanans probably are more interested in health care and the wanting open lands.
Well, we're concerned about the Republican Party. They have a holy grail called trickle-down economics, and it's led to these huge deficits, and they fall upon everybody. And now rich people are coming in here, and they're making some kind of rationale that we must sell public lands in order to pay for all these deficits. In other words, we have to pay for their tax cuts. And that's been going on that's steadily gaining ground. And our opponent, Gianforte, he's supported this. And we are very strong, and we were very against this. This is a big issue in Montana.
public lands, it's grizzly bear habitat, it's the headwaters of the most precious water in North America. We need to protect these lands, and the Republican Party is trying to take it away from the people. And we're taking a stand here in Montana. We're not going to let it happen. We're going to protect these public lands, and Rob Quist is the reason we're down here, one of the main reasons, and the health care issues and the tax issues and this other stuff for the common person in America. We want to take back public lands for America. And Quist is the answer, and that's one of the reasons I've been canvassing for two weeks. Been coming down here, and it's those land issues that are real important. And it's not our land, it's not Wyoming's land, it's Vermont's land, it's America's land.
When you go around canvassing, what is the number one and number two, let's say, issues that people raise as what they're concerned about?
You know, I think healthcare is a big one. I know that Montana lands is a huge one, and it's a huge one for me. So those two issues are hot topics. I feel like healthcare has just grown into this huge issue with the new Trump care that's been proposed, which isn't looking good for anybody. So,
Like for me, I'm 60 years old. I have a pre-health condition. I had kidney cancer, and so it's my number one concern. And with the new healthcare law, I mean, my premiums could probably double.
So you don't wake up in the morning worrying about Russia?
I do a little bit, actually.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do, yeah. I mean, they affected Hillary from winning, in my opinion, and I think they're already affecting the 2018 elections, and they're probably affecting this one. That's just the news I get, so.
Nobody cares about Russia and Montana. We care about Montana. And Rob Quist, he's an entertainer. He's been singing to us. He's got songs about Montana. He is the soul of Montana. Forget about Russia. This is Montana.
At various points, Quist has attempted to make an issue of Gianforte's so-called Russian investments and has accused Gianforte of betting on Russia for his own personal financial gain. Now, that attack seems to have fallen by the wayside now, and if you talk to a lot of people here in Montana, they sort of rolled their eyes at it, and it really wasn't corroborated. The same investments that Gianforte had are also held by, for example, the Montana Public Employees Union, by the Montana State University employees. So that attack didn't really register. And in the past couple of weeks, obviously, the shift in the race has turned to healthcare. And then just today, everything was capped off with Greg Gianforte apparently body slamming a reporter. Now, we haven't gotten full visual documentation of the body slam yet, so we don't know if it was like a full suplex body slam, if it was athletically sound. But at the very least, there was a major commotion that occurred. So that is sort of where people are turning their attention to at this late stage in the campaign, and we'll see what happens.